Hey, it's Nicole. Welcome back to the show. We're excited to introduce you today to our newest guest, Chris Troka. He's the founder of Focused-Biz. Is that what we all want? That's what we're trying to find over here, too. A marketing company that uses AI. Can't wait to hear more about that. He promises that robots can work alongside a business owner as you build and grow and scale your business.
Hey, if you're an entrepreneur who usually fast forwards intros just like this one, this is the podcast for you.
Serial entrepreneurs.
I'm so excited to welcome you to the show, Chris. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Wait, Nicole, this is very important. Chris, now, listeners out there, you don't know this right now, but we can see each other. Chris, blink twice if it's really you or is it a robot? I need to know I'm dealing with the real live human being. Did Chris have like some sort of AI bot come do the show today, or did Chris come? Blink twice, Chris. Tell me it's you. Okay, great.
Technology's
Okay,
advances.
folks, I think we got the blinks in. I think Chris is really here, so fantastic.
Hey, just a reminder, our show is brought to you by SmartCookie Media, where we believe data tells a story, and not just any story, your business story. As a subscriber to the show or as a client, you'll get insights on profitable, data-driven marketing strategies that work for you and your business, your industry, not some cookie cutter trends. No, ideas that are led by your customer data so you know they'll work for you. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram to learn more. Everything's in the show notes. Now, let's get back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Longtime listener. Really excited to be on this podcast with you. And Nicole and Matt, thanks for having me. To me, what it means to be an entrepreneur is like being on a roller coaster, and the roller coaster's name is uncertainty and opportunity. Everything from standing in line, being at the train station, going up, hearing the clicking as you're putting in your time, your money, you're making short-term sacrifices in the hopes for long-term gains. You're going through the roller coaster, the twists, the turns, the loops that you go through, all the obstacles and roadblocks, the wins and successes that you have. And at the end of the roller coaster journey, you excitedly say, let's do that again. If you feel like going back to your 9-to-5 job, maybe the teacup ride is going to be best for you.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. All I kept picturing was that one part with the corkscrew. You know, it always whips my neck around, right? It gets you, humbles you too, right?
I'm laughing because even the analogy of, well, then you're just going to go back to going in circles. That's pretty much what you're doing.
Right.
I love that
It really
he
is.
like he just, like he
Teacup.
chose out of any other potential ride, he chose the teacup. So
Yes. It's so good. It's so
Awesome.
good. Oh my gosh, Chris. So yeah, that was the question, folks. How would you finish that sentence? You know you're an entrepreneur when, but I know as a longtime listener, you have a second answer for us. So tell us, what's another way that you'd answer that question?
You know you're an entrepreneur when you can connect with any other business owner or entrepreneur, no matter their industry, no matter their level of success, whether they're just starting or they've been in business for 20 years, you feel an instant connection to them, just like you were in Step Brothers. It's like, did we just become best friends? Then you find out you both love dinosaurs.
Yes.
And it's just this whole thing. It's like, man, it really feels great to be with like-minded people.
Yeah, they see you, right? They get it. And whether you're on, you're going up that roller coaster right at the moment or stuck in that corkscrew, they're like, I get you. It's like this adult sorority fraternity situation that we didn't know that we were joining. Yeah,
Absolutely.
How often, though, does it always come out, at least for me, it's like we're in this moment of being critical of something else that we see. We're like, man, did they really just do that? And you're saying the same thing to somebody else. I'm like, oh, what do you do? And like, oh, before you know it, both of us are realizing at the same time, like whoever just did that bonehead move up there, it seems like that moment in time is just like huge bond, this huge connection that occurs, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's when we turn the microphones on, folks.
Yeah,
Right
exactly.
there. That
Exactly.
moment. Too many of those phone calls.
Exactly. As a business owner, you have this new perspective. So whether you're critiquing their menu design or the billboard you saw or how they're, presenting themselves or running their business, you can't help but feel like, okay, I've been in that situation. I have similar shared experiences, and you can't help but critique, but still you actually feel like you're more connected than ever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Is there a recent story, somebody you met recently? I mean, I feel like this just happened right here, but is there a recent story besides this?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Just recently, about a week ago, I had someone who had reached out and said they saw me on a podcast and found I was interesting and wanted to reach out. They saw I was doing marketing, websites, and the whole bit. And they are actually in the business of masonry and construction, but they had this new idea. They are also a serial entrepreneur. They wanted to create a website that is for kind of like guessing the score of certain games. So it kind of skirts the line of gambling and promotions. And before we met up and wanted to work together, I actually advised him to work with a lawyer first and find out what the rules are, because that seems like it's skating the line of gambling.
No, I know those guys. They're over here. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can work it out. Yeah. They're not far from us.
can I just say right now, I mean, man, like we have so many great guests on the show, but here Chris shows up. He knows how to answer the first. Nicole, you didn't even have to ask him the question.
Yeah.
He knew how to answer the question. And then he just told one of his potential clients to go talk to a lawyer. No one says go talk to the lawyer first. I love Chris. Chris, thanks for being on the show. I'm going to thank you
Thanks
again.
so much.
Model guest right here, folks. Yeah. Everyone, the bar has just been boom, up a notch. Yeah. Up another notch. Oh, I love it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you are a serial entrepreneur, Chris. We know that from the bio, but give it to us. Tell us, what do you own? What businesses? What are you working on?
So 9 years ago, I started a DJ business out of a need and hate for my 9-to-5 lifestyle. I was working for the teacup. Absolutely. I was working for a teacup company. And basically, I was going in circles. At the time, it was 2013 or 14. I was making $14 an hour at a nonprofit company at what would be a very respected position. And I thought, man, I've made it. This is it. But at the end of the year, even having a roommate with some sort of affordability, I had $600 to my name. And that was still with a little bit of assistance with my parents. And thank goodness for them. But I just couldn't believe that that's all I had left. And I thought, I got to keep doing this for another 30, 40, 50 years. This is not the lifestyle for me. So off a recommendation, one of my mentors, she was the director of one department of the organization. She recommended to me, hey, I know you played in a band. You still have your old sound and lighting equipment. Can you just set that up and play DJ for my friend's wedding? I thought, sure, this should be cool. So I tried it. I ended up loving it. She's like, this is kind of cool and easy, isn't it? I was like, this is actually a great idea. So I started to DJ on the weekends for like birthdays and anniversaries. And then I thought, what if I treated this like a real business? I created a website. I got a professional domain and email address. And I started to learn everything I could about marketing and sales and design and everything like that. So everything from like YouTube videos, podcasts, I just couldn't get enough information. So over the years, started building that up. I eventually started DJing for weddings, which is where the money is at. I eventually started adding more service lines to the DJ service. So we now offer photo booth and room lighting. And then eventually I had so much work and so many leads that I was just turning business away. So I thought, why not build a team that has similar values on customer service and what it means to be a great DJ? So eventually we built up a team. They also offer photo booths. And now for 3 years, this has been my full-time gig, offering the wedding DJ photo booth and room lighting here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it's just been an incredible journey. We have had so much success and failures at different points. And just throughout that journey, I ended up enjoying marketing so much. There was a huge opportunity where I could go back to school for free. So I went to our community college and I got my degree in marketing. And I said, you know what? This is what I really enjoy. I want to really hone my skills in marketing. So that's what I did. I earned my degree at the end of 2021. And at around that point, I had been helping other people, my friends and family, natural market with websites marketing, sharing the knowledge that I had learned, and eventually thought, hey, this could become another line of revenue for me, another service. So that's when I created Focused-Biz. And then suddenly, as I grew my network, I stumbled across this team of developers. They said, we're trying to create a better CRM all-in-one software. And I was like, hey, I'd love to help you out with that. So a bunch of us entrepreneurs and business owners got together, worked with this development team to help continually improve this software. And that is a part of our service offering today, not only the marketing, but also the software that has automation and AI built into it.
Wow.
Is that out to market? I have to know.
We have the software out to market. We are currently considering early adopters and what I'd like to call beta testers, even though we're in full production. I feel as for a business tool, there needs to be higher reliability. So that's why I'm calling it beta test and early adopters. And the AI portion, the AI chatbot, is currently in its official beta testing and should be released in about a month or two.
Oh my gosh.
So Chris, I have to dig into something that was really keen in this whole history of where you came and evolved essentially to where you're at today. And that is you took the time, you said, because of some very fortunate opportunities to go back to college. In a day and age where marketers are, quote, funnel hackers, and I'm not dogging these funnel hackers that went to high school like, screw you, I'm not going to college. I'm just going to learn how to build a funnel. And now I have a digital marketing agency and now I can make millions of dollars from a beach on a laptop with a chair in the sand and all of it, which you and I both know what kind of Wi-Fi signal you're getting out there. But anyways, I digress. What I really appreciated in your story was that even though you were self-taught, so to speak, and you're learning all this stuff and you're finding all this stuff fascinating, rather than continue down that path, you elected to go back to college and actually get your degree. I got to know, other than the money or the fortuitous situation, what made you go, you know what? I want a formal education on marketing as well.
That is a great question. And it's funny because for years I had put off going to school. I had tried for a semester when I was fresh out of high school and I did not like it. So I completely flunked out. I had to pay money back to the school and that was not fun. And I really thought that I just want to make my own path, my own way, my own journey in life. And unfortunately, a lot of the 9-to-5 jobs had always said, okay, we could put you in this position, but it's going to pay you a lot less without a degree. And I said, well, I'm still completing the same tasks and objectives, right? They said, well, you don't have the fancy piece of paper, so we can't pay you. So I was like, I have to go into massive amounts of debt in order to make more money. And it just seemed like I was going to be spinning my wheels still. I just had a thirst for knowledge and wanted to be self-taught first. And I really do feel like hands-on experience is going to be more valuable than just your traditional schooling. With any sort of piece of information, knowledge, or education that you attain, it's really about what action do you take from it. So it was this weird opportunity where I literally just barely qualified to go for this new program offered by our community college. It was called the Adult Promise, that said, if you took 2 classes in the past, got A's or better, and haven't been back in 2 years, then we would pay for your tuition. And I literally just qualified for that. 2 classes, 2 A's. And I was like, I haven't been there 2 years. It seemed like just fate and the universe was,
Wow.
The universe was speaking directly to me. And I just felt like it would be a great accomplishment for me to be able to have a marketing degree that just in case the business didn't work out, if I didn't make it, I would have something to fall back on. I felt a formal education could really just take me to that next level.
Awesome.
Incredible. Yeah. We will spend a whole lot of money in school too. So we're both really jealous. Really
Yes,
is,
exactly.
key with everything here. I mean, I think we both value our education. Yes.
Yes.
Maybe not as much as the interest that's attached to it, but yes, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I think that it, to me, is a confidence builder that if you don't know what's on the other side, like once you do, you might have been like, I probably could have done it. But like when you don't know, you don't know. Right. And so it's a blind spot. And so when you get to experience it, and so incredible. So talk to me a bit about your confidence level. Where does that come from? I love asking a certain guest this when I don't hear it in the story right away. There's something that's said to you like, wait, I only have $600 left over and I even have to have a roommate. Like there was something there that was like, I think I can do better. Even the mentor saw something in you. I always say if kids can see it, they can be it. Was there something you saw as a kid that just gave you the confidence you could do this?
I think just seeing how much other people struggled to get by and how hard it was to get ahead and scraping by to have the bare necessities, both seeing people's struggles and then also seeing other people's successes as well. So seeing people who had a much fancier house with a pool and they could go on vacations, multiple cars, and they had all the toys that they could imagine. I thought, I want that sort of financial freedom. I saw people sipping cocktails on a beach somewhere working on their laptop. And I thought, I want that sort of time freedom. I want that sort of flexibility in my life. And going to a 9-to-5 was an absolute dread for me. One, because I'm not a morning person. I much prefer afternoons and evenings. That's when my mind is the sharpest. But additionally, it just felt like I didn't have opportunity to climb up that corporate ladder, one, without the degree, and two, I just had less control over it. I had to wait for a job opening and then I had to compete with others. I felt like when more things are in my control, like something with entrepreneurship, business ownership, then I could really make my path, my way for success, as opposed to that 9-to-5. So partially it was the lemonade stand that I started when I was a kid, or a garage sale where I could sell my old Nintendo system so we could get the next system that was available that was probably 2 to 3 years old already. But I really feel like having to earn and work for a lot of those, toys and rewards as both a kid and then, early adulthood, that really shaped me as an individual and taught me to be content and okay with the things that I have, be grateful with the things that I have. And I think that's really helped me be more cash frugal and more conscious of the money that I'm spending to ensure that the money that's coming in isn't directly going out right away. So that way I still have more money to my name. I have more capital to work with going forward. And that reinvestment is important to me.
So who modeled that for you? You're telling me about being a kid, having to earn your way. What did mom and dad do for a living?
So my dad was a truck driver and he went from a few different companies. First, it was part-time. My dad actually owned a rental property that also had a bar. So he was an early entrepreneur. He was a 30-year-old bar owner. I believe it worked with his cousin, joint ownership on that. And seeing him do that, after that was sold, we were able to get a townhouse rental where we lived and then we rented the other side. And then From there, he got, full-time employment through trucking. He eventually worked with UPS. So he was able to get a union contract with great pay and great benefits. And that was really inspiring as well. And then my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom for a while, but she did work odd jobs here and there. And eventually, once us kids were older and we could kind of take care of ourselves, we were going to school, then she went and worked in some customer service, front-end desk jobs as well. And it was really inspiring to see my mom's level of customer service because I got to witness firsthand how she interacted with clients. And of course, the way our moms treat us are going to be way different than how they treat other adults in life. I was like, Mom, you're so much more stern and direct with us. And here you are just super happy and bubbly with all these clients and customers. She's like, well, that's how you're supposed to present yourself when working with, outward facing clients. So it was really cool. That was inspiring to see. So that was kind of witnessing my mom and dad go through their journey, kind of helped bring me to where I am.
Going back to the drinks on the beach thing, I mean, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I just want the drink on the beach.
I'm thinking it's a backache and a neck ache, and they're lying. They're lying. There's no way. My head and neck and back is like, no, if we're going to be on vacation, we're on vacation. Thank you very much. We're not going to look for a heating pad later on that next day. No.
Okay, wait. I just want to tell you that this episode, it's brought to you by Run Like Clockwork. There is a book, there is a program, there's a boot camp, but I want to tell you the reason why this particular episode is here, in fact, the entire show, is because of one commitment I made to make sure my business runs like clockwork. If you're interested in what that system could look like for you so that you have more freedom and flexibility to do the things that you love, say, yes, I want my business to run like clockwork without suffering any type of burnout. If you want more information, of course, reach out anytime, but I also included a link in the show notes. Okay, back to the show.
So tell me, when was the last time you were distracted in your business that maybe there's a shiny object or a squirrel, or maybe it led to your brightest idea?
I feel like a really big distraction that we all can relate to is going to be the COVID lockdowns that happened. I was about to have the best year yet with the wedding DJ photo booth. We were going to be breaking records. We already had so many contracts booked by March 2020. And then we see this lockdown starting in China and Europe, and then eventually coming over here. A lot of my friends didn't even believe it was going to happen in the US. One of my best friends, he actually had a trip booked to Disneyland with his wife and kids. And I was like, hey, you should really buy that insurance plan so you can get a refund. And he's like, it's not going to happen. It literally shut down after. And it was just having a little bit of forethought and foresight.
That's so important. If we could just take a clip of this right now and that example, I just want to tell all of our friends out there that aren't entrepreneurs, here's how one way you can take advantage. Entrepreneurs are first adopters. We see things before they're coming. If you could just listen when we give you good advice, or just pretend to take it, or just not tell us when you didn't, because your entrepreneur friends, we're seeing it ahead of schedule, and just listen a little longer, maybe entertain us for a second.
Yes, absolutely.
Would save you money.
Right. Totally agree. But from that story, basically, I lost all the income I was going to earn from DJing. I had to go on unemployment for a short while. So at that point, I was towards the end of my marketing degree. I pivoted and said, this is the time I'm going to open my marketing agency because businesses need this. So I was able to help a few businesses, people from my natural market. My best friend started an insurance agency. So I helped him with some graphic design and lead generation opportunities. And I also worked with my mom to open her very own salon in October of 2020.
Wow.
So she handled everything from knowing the stylist, salon, haircutting, licensing side. And I brought in my business experience with software, tech, and tools. So we found the right CRM that worked for her. We created the website, the scheduling calendar. We set up and implemented 163 retail products into it. And I even trained her new staff on the new CRM system and gave them the processes and templates that they would follow. So we kind of worked together to create that business and brand for her, which has been pretty great. And of course, with just the changes in employment, the workforce, and all those obstacles that we deal with, we've just been pivoting and finding our way of what's going to work best and finding that balance as business owners.
163. Wow. Did you hear that, Matt?
Yep, I heard
His fingers can still feel the inputting of all those
of every single product code.
It was definitely a process that we were dreading. And it was actually last minute that we were implementing that together. But because of that sort of, oh crap, oh no moment, we were able to say, okay, we're going to focus, we're going to do this. And we knocked that out in 5 hours. I had my little sister who helped me. We had a process. I'm going to do this. You read it off. We put it in. We had to print out each material data and safety sheet for salons. You have to have that for every chemical you have in a business. So it was a process. But once we had that template, it made that so much easier. So what could have potentially been a week-long project, we accomplished in 5 hours.
That's good because I'm going to yawn thinking about it.
And I'm sitting here laughing at myself because I'm going, okay, this is why I could not be part of the Troka family, because I'd be sitting there and we're not even stepbrothers, pun intended, by the way. And I'm like, all right, Chris, you ready? You're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, ready? Here it goes. It goes 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. And about halfway through the first one, you're going to like punch me probably. And then just so you know, about 5 or 6 products from now, we're going to do it backwards. And I'm like 10, 9, 8. We probably would not have been done in 5 hours, Chris, just so you know, if I was part of the family. But we would have had fun. We would have had fun.
You got to find that balance too. Yeah. There's got to be a time where you're having fun, then you're serious and professional. I was always the class clown. I was a goofball too. I would gladly accept you as a stepbrother. Absolutely. We're always looking to add to the family. Why not?
Awesome.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what you do with this software or what you do in general, what you bring to the world. Because, listening to Mom all those years ago about customer service, I just see it woven through your bio and what you're about. So let's talk about why is it that 90% of businesses, small businesses, are losing customers because of what you call friction?
That is an absolutely great question. And I feel like if they knew the answer, they would try to switch that. Within the buyer's journey, there are people who are trying to find the next steps to the sale. They're trying to find your pricing. And we need to try and make that simple and easy for them to move forward in the next steps. An example that I'll give you is going to be with my own experience with my own wedding DJ and photo booth business. When I first started, I had a very disgusting website, if I'll be honest. I wasn't communicating the right messaging. I wasn't even calling myself a DJ service. I called it sound and lighting service. And what person out there is going to hire a sound and lighting service? They're actually looking for a DJ. So I realized that within the messaging and the communication, I need to refine that and make that connect with the clients and the people who were coming to my website a little bit better. I was also finding that I really didn't have a proper lead generation form on top of that. So people were reaching out and it might take me 24 to 48 hours to even get back to them with a quote, but I wasn't even collecting that essential information I needed to quote for their project. So eventually I started to learn I need a better form. I need that form to follow up automatically with these leads. I need more personalized touch points that are going to connect with them with the right messaging that's going to resonate with them. So that way, one, I'm going to save time on my end, and I don't have to think as much about the follow-up and the next steps that happen. And I realized I'm gatekeeping the pricing. I need to be transparent with my pricing. This accomplishes a couple things. It's going to pre-qualify the leads that are coming to my website. And that way I don't have to nurture the leads that aren't going to be in my budget, in my range. Secondly, I was withholding the contract, the next steps to the sale. How do I sign up for the service? It sounds great. Again, 24 to 48 hours for me to get back to them because I was still working part-time jobs at the time. So eventually I decided I'm going to make my contract public. I'm going to keep it general enough that it applies to all events, and I'm going to allow them to make their deposit online. I'm just going to be very straightforward and transparent about the next steps to the sale. This was something that I kind of learned throughout the years and perfected. And that's one piece of the software that I started to utilize, the lead form, the automation, the contract, the payments, all of that makes it nice and easy, next steps to the sale. So over the years of improving the messaging, removing friction from the buyer's journey, we were able to achieve a 40% conversion rate from lead into customer. And we actually had a couple who signed up using our DJ quote builder form. They can now build their own quote on our website. And based on the honest and transparent pricing, the messaging on our website, they did not wait to check for our availability. They literally signed up and said, we just hope you're available. I had someone actually go through the funnel and take the next step without needing that personalized, touch point with me. They didn't need to chat with me. So that was an amazing experience to have. We ran into another obstacle. We found that some DJs were going to be leaving our team, meaning we couldn't serve at the same volume as we were the year prior. So we had to introduce just a little bit of friction, or at least increase the prices a little bit in order to kind of make up for that balance. So from that, with the A/B testing, we're still even converting 30% of our leads into customers. Last year, it was 76 contracts that we sold. This year, it's been 34, and that's going to continue to improve.
So tell me this then, was it that one client who went through the entire funnel without any human interaction? Like, was that the precipice of this idea of what if all customer service could be automated, all inside sales, all the intake process from start to finish to close that sale could be automated? Was that like the precipice of this?
Absolutely. It was a shocking moment. I was a little scared at first. I was like, oh no, what if I don't have someone available? But it really did create this aha moment that I realized what pieces of my work of the team's work could be automated, like you said, with less human touch points, less human interaction. And of course, with anything in business, I don't want to take absolutely everything. I want to work alongside automation and humans to make it both work together. But there is something to be said. I'm seeing a lot of websites who are doing similar for lawyer work. If you need certain forms completed, they're saying, fill out this form, it's automated. And I'm sure in the back end, there's more human involvement, but there is a lot we can do with software, APIs, and webhooks where it's filling out the forms for them, little human review, and then it sends it off. I mean, we're talking about taking a process that would normally take 2 to 3 hours, and now it becomes 2 to 3 minutes for a human review. So that's one piece that it just kind of makes you realize how powerful automation can be to help you increase your productivity.
Of course, of course. By the way, fire your lawyer that only spends 2 to 3 minutes looking at your documents. Sorry, I just said out loud.
It was just an example.
Regardless of the robot. I don't care how good your robot is, Chris. We're firing that lawyer. So.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, no, I expect my attorney to send me back something with some red ink all over it, even if it is only 2 minutes. Send me back some edits. Make sure that somebody's it over. Even Matt catches my spelling errors, so I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, what is one of the key lessons you've learned as an entrepreneur? Maybe it's a mantra that you find yourself saying again and again, or yelling and crying and screaming at clients when you hang up the phone.
There are really 2 key pieces that I really try to remind myself day to day. It's about finding balance, and it's about imperfect action. We kind of stress ourselves out. We have a lot of anxiety about the things that are on our plate, what needs to get done. Please feel free to find your balance. Take a moment to go for a walk, meditate, go look at a bird, something that finds you peace, some harmony, and then you can get back to work later. The second one is going to be the imperfect action. We spend a lot of time and we feel like we need to perfect and make things even better, the best they need to be before we even launch and go into market. But a lot of the time we find that we need the review and feedback from our target market in order to improve our service. So we can spend all this time actually trying to build something that the target market isn't even interested in, or we find that it's a better fit for a different market. So that's finding balance as an entrepreneur and imperfect action.
Nice.
Oh, balance. So elusive.
So elusive. It's so. You've always evaded me. Oh, balance.
Always getting in the way.
Always getting in the way. You know. Hey, Chris, tell me this. How would you define your entrepreneurial success?
I believe my entrepreneurial success was having financial freedom and time freedom. I think those were the 2 main things that I was looking for. Is I don't want to have to worry about how much I could actually afford to put into my gas tank that week. And then the time freedom, the 9 to 5 lifestyle was not for me. I really don't mind putting 8, 10, 15-hour days in sometimes, but that's something I actually enjoy because it's for myself. I can get lost in a project like that. But the time freedom for me to say, I may only want to spend 1 to 2 hours on my emails today, and the rest I'm just going to take off for myself. I have that flexibility now. So that's the entrepreneurial success that I've been hoping for.
Hard to buy guitars like those with a teacup job.
Right.
Really
I
hard.
know.
Well, and I'm laughing because I go back to the very beginning when we talked about, his $600 and the roommate and working in nonprofit. What better place for you to realize that I'm not making a lot, and yet there's all these donors around me making a lot more money than the nonprofit world, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We were a part of the volunteer and donation department. So I got a chance to work at the gala that we rented out the Fister. You literally just see $5, $10, $50,000 being donated at a time. And I'm like, can I get a little piece of that? I mean,
I love it.
So Chris, tell us, how do people get to work with you? Is there a link, something you want to share with the listeners of our show?
Sure, absolutely. People can find me either on Facebook or LinkedIn and on my website, focused-biz.com, or they could email me at info@focused-biz.com. We're offering an extended free trial, 45-day free trial of our software. So you can actually get in, play around with it, fall in love with it, and see if the automation is really going to help save you time and money. So just get in touch and we're going to build a custom software solution just for you.
Oh my gosh, incredible. So I love ActiveCampaign. What was the software choice for you before this new one?
I fell in love with HubSpot.
I love HubSpot too. Yeah,
absolutely.
I do.
I was a part of a marketing agency, that same mentor director. She left the nonprofit world and started her own marketing agency. I had some success with paid advertising, so I became a paid ad specialist there. We worked together. I got introduced to HubSpot. I took all the certifications that I could, learned the software in and out, loved the tracking, analytics, the CRM, just how much it really saves us time and really just propels us as a marketing agency. I felt that was really helpful. We're only as good as the tools and technology that we start to use.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. It's expensive though, folks. It's expensive and you need to fully commit, do all the things if you do. Yeah, but I do love HubSpot for sure.
Otherwise, you have a Ferrari sitting in the garage. Like that's what happens.
That's
Most
right.
people
That's
have.
what-
Exactly.
That's good. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, it's Nicole, and that's the end of the interview. But stick around. This is the part where Matt and I break it all down and give you our favorite takeaways. Listen in.
Matt, we just got off the call with Chris, and I have to say there's a few things that jumped off the page right away.
Yeah. Like what?
Number one, what a great podcast guest. He knew our show. He listened to the show. I mean, he complimented by saying he was a longtime listener. I mean, just so smart because, he's somebody that works with a podcast booking agency. We love a couple of them, folks. If you need someone to book you on other shows, we have a couple great referrals. But here's the thing is he made sure to study up on what he's doing next.
Yeah.
And that was us for the day. That
He
was
was so excited. He fired out the answer to the
I
first
know.
question
I love
before
it.
he even asked it to him.
I
Like,
love
because
it.
he knew that first question that
He
was
knew.
going to come
He
out.
was ready.
Yeah.
He even had 2 inches ready to go.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
So being a great guest, that wasn't about him necessarily, except it was every bit about him. I bet you that's how he shows up. to
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. The big thing that kind of stuck out to me was, we talk a lot in the show about our family, how we're brought up. You always say if kids can see it, they can be it. And so his parents,
Yeah.
hearing about his dad being a truck driver, but even while he's being a truck driver, what did he do? He bought a bar. Then he went out and bought a townhome with 2 sides and lived in one
I
and
knew
a half.
your real estate.
I
super
know,
appreciate
exactly.
it.
I was like, look at this guy. He is at least, practicing what he's preaching, at least to a certain point, and showing his kids, like, this is what you can do.
Right.
To the point where then he still went after stability in the job, UPS, creating that stability for his family and everything. But in the background, he had that side hustle of real estate going.
Right.
So I really appreciated it.
Yeah, I love that. It turns out his mom's a business owner now too.
Yeah.
Like
Look at that.
just all the way through. I think it's really, really special.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 was about taking imperfect action.
Mhm.
I think we're all guilty of that, right? We want
Yep.
to get it out right. I'm writing something today that is, I'm keeping it in a Google Doc, and it's really hard to imagine that I'm just
Mhm.
going to keep it in a Google Doc and give it out to people, but I want it to them that quickly.
Right.
And it's bugging my team.
Yeah.
Like Rachel's in there. She's like, tell me not to mess with the margins. We're going to leave it like this. Yes. We're going to leave it like this. And he did that when he showed like, hey, it's not ready. It's not all
Right.
ready, but we're going to give you a link to try out his software.
Yeah, it was cool. We got a cool little demo afterwards. It was kind of neat to see what's happening and kind of really see how the gears are turning in like such a development process, and even admit it, it's a development process. We're working through some of the things, but these are the things that are really happening behind the scenes. And he talked about that. It was a common theme even throughout his own entrepreneurial journey of how everything is this process. And he has to remind himself, hey, you know what? Take imperfect action.
Well, folks, if you're listening, you know what we always say.
Keep listening.
You've been listening to the Serial Entrepreneur Show, produced by the team here at SmartCookie Media.